Hello, my name is Veena Howard. I teach at the Department of Philosophy at Fresno State University. And my research focuses on Gandhi's ascetic activism, and also I have edited a volume on Eastern or the Indian traditions. So today's, the focus of my talk is today on Gandhi's unique interpretation of yogic disciplines as expounded in the Yoga Sutra. As you know, the Yoga Sutra is an essential text of the yoga systems. And so these disciplines include, which I'm focusing on, is truth, nonviolence, celibacy, non-possession, and how Gandhi takes his disciplines, which were meant to help the yoga practitioners to transcend the distractions of a mind and body. He transforms these disciplines to transform his personal life and initiate social change. So this is very unique about Gandhi, what he does. So as some of you know, traditionally these yogic disciplines have been used or observed to purify the mind and prepare the practitioner for the attainment of higher states of spiritual awareness and freedom. But when we read the Yoga Sutra, we also find that the Yoga Sutra ascribes powers, spiritual powers, siddhis, to each of these yogic disciplines. So what's unique about Gandhi? That he experiments with these disciplines to attain personal strength, personal power, and to create a program to secure political justice and social harmony for people of India. So in this PowerPoint show or this slide presentation, I will go systematically and analyze how Gandhi interpreted these yogic disciplines as methods of nonviolence, ahimsa, and truth, satya, to be wielded as weapons. And this is very strange that Gandhi calls these disciplines as weapons against the forces of colonialism. So Gandhi's idea was the mind is the toughest enemy or the toughest force to reckon with. So these disciplines can also be used to confront the forces of colonialism, racism, and all forms of violence. Gandhi embodied practices of self-restraint that enabled him to bring about ground-shaking social change and political transformation. So Gandhi is known as Mahatma, or known as the Great Soul. And he's, some call him a karma yogi. Karma yogi means the person who is a yogi through the service of the other people, who devotes his life to the service. But Gandhi, I argue in this presentation, he was not simply a karma yogi just in the sense of that he is doing everything as dedicated to God, but he's also utilizing the technology, I will call, as it were, of the yogic disciplines to create a method for confronting violence and sustaining social harmony. So why are we talking about Gandhi? Why is he, I'm sure all of you know about Gandhi, but as we know, Gandhi was the catalyst, if not initiator, of the revolutions against colonialism, racism, and violence. Gandhi inspired many nonviolent leaders all over the world. I'm sure you can recognize these faces on the screen, from Cesar Chavez to Martin Luther King Jr., to Nelson Mandela, and to Desmond Tutu. And Dalai Lama really speaks highly of Gandhi's methods. So here I'm going to give you a photo of our Peace Garden at Fresno State. When I joined Fresno State, I was just so intrigued to see Gandhi's statue in the Peace Garden. And it's really central to the campus. And here's another shot of the Peace Garden. Another statues of Jane Addams, Cesar Chavez, and Dr. King. All of these were influenced by Gandhi. And even Jane Addams corresponded with Gandhi, and Cesar Chavez and Dr. King were directly influenced by Gandhi's methods and used them in their activism. So I ask my students, what thoughts and images come to your mind when you think about Gandhi? And I ask you that. And I get different kinds of answers. And this is the popular image of Gandhi, how Gandhi has been popularized in our modern culture or contemporary culture. Gandhi says peace. I think in the United States, we love t-shirts. And I don't think Gandhi says peace, because when you look at Gandhi's works, you hardly hear the word peace. You hear the word nonviolence a lot more often. And Gandhi says relax. Gandhi's never going to say relax because Gandhi wanted people to be always active. And this is again a funny poster I wanted to share with you. And it's an eye for an eye will make the whole world pirates, or eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. I mean, that's the popular representations of Gandhi when we think about Gandhi. Albert Einstein paid tribute to Gandhi. And this is here, I'll begin really getting deeper into Gandhi's method. He said, generations to come will scarce believe that such a one as this walked the earth in flesh and blood. What does this mean? The Einstein was really referring to how Gandhi creates a method really out of apparently nothing, doesn't need any weapons, doesn't need any resources, but the inner power of the soul to confront the colonial regime, imperial regime, which one was the most powerful regime at that time, the British regime, and also bringing change in the lives of the Indian people. This think different, if you can guess, this caption is from the Microsoft word by Apple, Microsoft, so by Apple, not PC. And Gandhi really did think differently. How did he think differently? I think that's a better grammar. He experimented with the power of yoga. So yoga has been used for inner spiritual realization for centuries in India. But what Gandhi does, the experiments with the power of yoga for political and social goals. I love this poster. One of my students sent me, and it's a Star Wars, as you can tell. And it really is that how the Force awakens, and the Gandhi is using the force of yogic disciplines. So that many yoga centers utilize Gandhi's principles for social change. I just went online and I saw this website called the Daily Cup of Yoga. And in it, the website talks about the 10 principles of Gandhi's philosophy that can be used to change the world, change oneself and change the world. But Gandhi believed in that in order to change our surroundings, one has to change one's own self. You always begin with your own self. And that is the story of Gandhi's life and his works. how Gandhi experiments with the yoga disciplines in his own life, then how he uses those yoga disciplines as tools to affect change in the outer world. So the question arises, how did Gandhi do it? How did he find the strength to stand up against the most powerful empire of the time? That's a question I often get when I am presenting at conferences or teaching my classes. And the second question is, how was he able to mobilize millions to fight for justice? It's not easy to have millions of people to get them ready to sacrifice their lives for the cause. One of the answers is Gandhi used the power of yoga, and here I means yoga disciplines, yoga practices, for personal empowerment and for social justice. And Gandhi's personal embodiment of yoga practices also created a persona of a spiritual teacher in Mahatma. It was not simply a persona, but he became a great soul, a great Mahatma for his people. And that also helped mobilize the masses. It's very important to just note historically Gandhi's humble beginnings and think about his childhood. According to Gandhi's autobiographical records, as a child, he was neither charismatic nor did he display any extraordinary talents. He speaks about his devoted and persevering mother. So some may have this idea, well, he was Gandhi. Of course he can do this. No, Gandhi really makes it clear in his autobiography that he was an ordinary child, ordinary young man. So Gandhi himself confesses in his autobiography that he was afraid of darkness. He was physically weak. He didn't have athletic abilities and neither interest nor abilities, that he was extremely shy. And he was so afraid of speaking in public that even after receiving his law degree, he still was not able to present his case in the public. And despite his law degree, he was not able to secure a job in India and had to leave his wife and child for his first job in South Africa. So all of which is really demonstrates that Gandhi had ordinary, in quotes, beginnings. However, how one night everything changes. Gandhi was in South Africa, and many of you must have watched the Gandhi film. And the scene is that Gandhi is traveling in the first class compartment, and he's asked to leave because he's colored. And Gandhi refuses and resists. And then finally he's pushed out of the train. Gandhi encounters social injustice, racism, and inequality personally. And he recalls that while sitting on the train station, Gandhi overnight changes. And he takes a vow or makes a determination to fight against racism and inequality. But how to do it? How did he do it? Gandhi begins to read and he comes across the Sermon on the Mount from the New Testament, and he learns the teaching of turning the other cheek. He reads he has read already his favorite text, the Bhagavad-Gita, and he remembers that the teaching of the Gita is the act with the spirit of sacrifice and dedication and non-attachment. Then he also recalls the Yoga Sutra, and he reads the Yoga Sutra afterwards, and he says the discipline of body, mind, and spirit. So these three texts are major influences on Gandhi's life and his method. So Gandhi reflects on the teachings of the Bhagavad-Gita, the Yoga Sutra, and he also is familiar with reading the scholars, authors like Tolstoy, Ruskin, and Thoreau. And he comes to this conclusion: the Western judicial system is based on retributive justice and brute force. The path of yoga offers an alternative path or method of truth, force, and social justice. So he does not want to go by the Western judicial system of retributive justice, but rather he wants to use the method of truth force for social justice. Truth force, which he later coins the term satyagraha, is the method of moral force, using the methods of morality, being on the side of justice and truth, rather than eye for an eye or tit for tat. Gandhi concludes that strength does not come from physical capacity, it comes from indomitable will. And this becomes the center of his activism.